Good morning, students. Today the date is July 20 and the day is Monday. I hope you all are well and safe at home. In this video, we are going to continue with the chapter number 5, data handling. Firstly, we will discuss the points to remember. The very first definition is of data. Data is the information collected in the form of numbers. This is actually the general information which we collect. Suppose I want to see the number of students present in the month of July. This is the information which is collected in the form of numbers. This is basically known as data. Now next is raw data. Raw data is the information data available to us in an unorganized form is known as raw data. As I told you, if I want to see the number of students present in the month of July, that is unorganized data. That data is called raw data. Suppose I want to collect any other information, weight of the students, height of the students. In the first step, as I have simply write down the information of a class 8, the height of the students of class 8. After that, I will organize that data. Firstly, I will just measure the heights and write down the data. That information which is available in the unorganized form is called raw data. Next one is grouped data. Grouped data is the data arranged in groups. As I told you, I want to collect the information of the heights of students of 8th class. After collecting the information, I will make the groups. So suppose I have measured the heights from 60 centimeter, 65 centimeter, 63 centimeter, 100 centimeter. In this way, this information is in the form of raw data. After that, I will make the groups. The students whose height is from 50 to 100 centimeter, then as 50 to 100 centimeter, then 100 to 150 centimeter, then 150 to 200 centimeters. This makes the groups from 50 to 100, 100 to 150, 150 to 200. This data which I have arranged in terms of groups, that is called the grouped data. Or simply we can take the example of marks obtained by students in an exam. That is when I will make the list, simple list. As I am making the simple list, roll number 1 obtained 30 marks, roll number 2 obtained 48, roll number 3 obtained 62 marks. That is raw data. After that, I will make the groups, the students who scored 0 to 10, then 10 to 20, 20 to 30. Now these are the groups in which the number of students who getting marks 0 to 10, then 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. I make the groups of the students who scored in these intervals. This type of data is called grouped data. Next one is class interval. As I told you, when I will make the groups that is 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, it extra is called the class interval. As I have made the data in groups, this 0 to 10 group is called the class interval. We can choose the class interval according to the given data. It can be in any difference, as I have here 0 to 10, here I have 50 to 100. So the class intervals can be according to the need of the question. Next one is upper class limit. Now I have written the examples here, the class intervals. If I am taking the example of 10 to 20, then this 20, this is the upper value, and this 10 is the lower value of the class interval. So 20 is known as the upper class limit and 10 is known as the lower class limit. Next one is width. Width is the difference between the upper class limit and the lower class limit. As I have written here 10 to 20, it means the width is 20 minus 10, that is 10. For this group The width is 10. For this group, the width is 50. Next definition is of range. The difference between the highest and the lowest value of the observation in given data. Suppose I have given the values like I have taken the examples of marks obtained by 10 students in a class test, that is out of 20, that is 5, 17, 20, 4, 3, 9, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 11. Now this is the data, this is the marks obtained by 10 students out of 20 in a class test. I want to write down the range. The range is the difference between the highest and the lowest observation. These values are known as the observations. Now in this, the highest value is 20, highest value. And the lowest value you can see is 3. This is the lowest value. And the difference between the highest value and the lowest value, that is 20 minus 3 is equal to 17, is the range of the given data. Now class mark. Class mark is defined as upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2. As here I have 0 to 10. So 0 plus 10 divided by 2 is equal to 10 by 2 is equal to 5 is the class mark. Now frequency. Frequency is the number of times a particular entry occurs. As here I have written the data. Here I will see how many times a particular entry occurs. Like 3 occurs once, 4 occur once, 5 occur once, then 8 occur once. All the entries are occurring here one single time. This can be more than one time, as we have so many students in the class who got same marks. So frequency is basically the number of times a particular entry, event, a mark occurs in the given data. Next is grouped frequency distribution table. The table showing the frequency of a various observation or class intervals of a given data. This type of frequency distribution table show how many times the given information occurs. This is frequency distribution table for the given data. As here I have write down the groups, that is 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. Here I have shown the tally marks. Tally marks are simply write down the count of the given data. That is, as there are 2 students who scored 0 to 10 marks. This is frequency. Frequency is the number of times a particular entry occurs. It means there are 2 students who scored between 0 to 10. In this way, we can write down the frequency distribution table in which the groups are mentioned according to the question. So here I have written the frequency, and this is representing the count of the frequency. As here I have 2, so I have marked 2 here. Then 10 is represented by this 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then this is the 5th line, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then this is the 10th line. In this way, we can make the frequency distribution table for the given data. Next definition is the pictograph. It is the pictorial representation of the data using symbols. This topic you already have done in your previous classes. Pictograph is basically used to represent the data in picture form. That is, we use the different symbols for representing the data. This is the example of pictograph. Here this graph shows the representation of pictograph. Here I have, this is the symbol I used for 100 cars. We can choose according to the question how many cars we want to represent or how many symbols we want to represent. We can choose by our own choice according to the need of the question. This one symbol stands for 100 cars. So here we are just showing that how many cars are sold in the month of July, August and September. And this is, as I have shown here, one car represent 100 cars. So this is 1, 2, half car. This stands for 250. In the month of August, there are 300 cars. In this way, we can represent the data in using the different symbols to make the pictograph. Next one is the bar graph, a pictorial representation of data or numerical data in the form of rectangles. These rectangles are known as bars of the uniform width and various height. Here this type of graph is known as bar graph. In this type of graph, we are just showing the information in the form of bars. These rectangles are known as bars. Here I have taken the years given, and this is the number of students in class 8th. On y-axis, we are showing the frequency of the data, and here this is the years in which we want to see the number of students in class 8 as in 2003 to 2004 we have 100 students in 8th class. In this way we can represent the data. This show the clear picture of the data, as from this we can see that the data this is increasing the number of students, as in 2003 to 4 there were 100 students, and after that it is increased to 200, and till 2007 to 2008 it is around 350. So this shows the clear picture in which the values are increasing or decreasing. Similarly, next definition is we have double bar graph, a bar graph showing two sets of data simultaneously. This is exactly same as single bar graph. In the bar graph, we are just showing the information of one kind of data. In this, there are two sets of data. This double bar graph is used to compare the information. Suppose I want to compare the marks of a student in first and second term. This can be represented by the double bar graph. As this is the example of double bar graph. In this bar graph, we are just comparing the marks obtained by a student in different subjects in 2005 and 6 and 2006 and 7. This is basically used to compare the data. As here I am just comparing the marks obtained by a student in two different years. This shows that how the student performances varies in the different 2 years, as in maths it improves. In social science, it also improves. In science, it improves. But in English, the performance of the students deprive. And in Hindi, the performance is same. This type of graphs just show us direct, clear-cut information. In just a glance, we can find out the conclusion. Next is histogram, the graphical representation of the data with no gap between the bars and no gap between the class interval. These two graphs are just the examples of histogram. In this, there are no gaps between the bars. As we have did in the bar graph, there are gaps between the bars. But there is no gap between the bars. The width in bar graph and in the histogram, this width should always be same. In both the cases, either you are drawing the bar graph or you are drawing the histogram, and the height will vary according to the given information. The height of the bars is basically the frequency of the class interval.